we've known each other for a long time. The backstory is not important. I think what people need to know that you're a pretty big deal, Mr. Brad. Happy to know you and happy to have you. But tell me this: you teach at a school of real estate, and you are an instructor. You've been doing that for many years. And somebody in the audience, so as you're getting all these wonderful folks their real estate licenses, because you're doing this to realtors, there are people that want to become realtors get their license. The stat you told me earlier this week, I was like, I got to know more. What was it? She worked somewhere and she told you something about kind of what changed yours and my perspective of how we might be doing business moving forward.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I thought that's what we were going to talk about today. So this is timely.
Yeah.
I'm kind of ready to talk about this, and then again, not really. So because I really wanted to input your ideas on it. So I teach a class at Champion School of Real Estate for people who are about to get their real estate license. In Texas, they have to take 6 classes. One of them is called real estate finance, and what it is mortgages. So I can talk about that. And it just so happened one of the people in the class is an employee of Realtor.com. And she told me that some of the research they had done shows that a lot of people, mainly younger people, rely more on an online review than they do a word of mouth review. And I think that's a total flip of a mindset. So for people who are, let's call it, I don't know, 50 years of age or older, whatever, they're going to go word of mouth heavy all the time. And then apparently young people, they just don't rely as much on their friends and family. They'd rather have the opinion of strangers online. So there you go.
And I think that so obviously she didn't have a lot more to say outside of just that generic stat. Like she didn't give it broken down into this category or this generation or whatever it is. Because I agree with your assessment. It's probably the younger generation, is my guess. But what's interesting is I wonder how much of that is, do they validate? I mean, first of all, how do you prove that? I guess that's part of my thing is like, okay, how many people do they sample? Where do they sample it? How do you prove it? But let's just say for the sake of today's conversation, we're going to believe that's true. And it makes some sense because, for example, I'm currently in the process of trying to find an attorney for a real estate thing that I'm doing over here. It doesn't matter. I got to change some corporate documents. And so I met somebody at a happy hour and she asked, she gave me a name and I was like, is this guy good in your firm? She's like, yeah, he's good. I didn't look anything up, Brad. I just called him. I've not been real pleased. Talked to him last week. I had to wait a week just to talk to him. Then I sent him something the next day in an email, sent a follow-up email the next day. Did you get it? Called his office yesterday, called his office, finally got somebody to answer the phone today. And she's like, yeah, you're on his list. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it goes back to I suddenly started thinking, getting ready for this. I was like, holy smokes. Like I just trusted blindly somebody's recommendation and I didn't look up any reviews. So when you start thinking about it, it's like how often, what do you do? So if I said, Brad, call an attorney, would you have looked them up online?
Probably not. I mean, realistically, I probably wouldn't. If I get a good, strong referral from you, well, before we got on this recorded section, you gave me the referral of a good loan officer for reverse mortgages. That's good enough for me. If you tell me somebody's good, I know you, I trust you, I'm going to go with that. But the third-party validation from the online reviews is nice. I mean, it's just not as heavily weighted for me, but again, I'm over 50. And so what I've started doing with this is I have this. It's like this close to going into action Monday. It'll probably be I'll be doing it. But I've got my marketing department working, setting up links and all this kind of stuff to send people to go check me out online, third party. So I have some Google reviews out there. I want to give people actually a QR code to get to that. I have a service called experience.com, which is a post-closing survey that goes to both borrowers and realtors. And I looked it up today. I have like 670 some odd reviews from past clients. So that's a lot of people. And so somebody just checking me out, who doesn't know me from Adam, other than maybe the realtor said, call Brad, they can click that link and go, oh, there's some other people who said Brad does a good job. I think my rating's like 4.8 out of 5 over, how many years. So pretty good enough, right? I wish it was higher, but good enough. And so I'm going to lean more on that, just to give it a try. I don't think there's a downside in sending people to those third-party validations. I think there's a potential upside. And it's free. So I'm all about free. So
what are you going to send them? What, like the second you meet them, are you putting in part of your contact card? Like, oh, by the way, check me out here. Like where are you implementing that in your process?
I send out a mortgage loan application checklist is what I call it. I'm sure you have the same thing. It has a link to my website. It has a list of the paperwork that we're going to need from them. And at the bottom of that, I'm going to say something like, check this out or click this link or learn about Brad, whatever it's going to say. I haven't decided for sure yet. So that's my plan with that.
And your third party, you said it was experience.com or whatever it is that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to point them to the experience? Or are you going to point them to Google reviews, or what platform are you going to point them to specifically? Do you know?
My plan right now is to point them to experience.com reviews. And I think that if they Google me, in addition to that, then they'll find the Google reviews because they pop right up. So I don't want to have too many links down there at the bottom, because one of the links I also have at the bottom is we call it a journey. It's basically a step-by-step process of here's what happens while your loan's in process, so they know what's going on. And that's my plan for now. Is it subject to change? Yeah. If I try and it doesn't work, am I going to change it? Yeah. Or if I talk to you and you give me a better idea, I'm going to change it. I'm not going to put it into play till Monday anyway. And today's Friday. You don't know that on the recording, but so Friday to Monday.
Well, here's what you and I both know, that just done is better than perfect, right? So you can always change it, just do something, take action, make something happen. So, I mean, no matter what you do, it's better than what you were doing. I agree with you that nothing can, at least I can't imagine there's anything negative that would come from this. The parts I would say and this is why it's so poignant, is that I'm doing the exact same thing. So I just Googled you, Brad. I see your Google reviews. Congratulations, you got 5.0. What's interesting is I have in my reading and understanding, so take this for what it is, it's hearsay, right? Where I've heard or learned from somewhere, you don't want a 5.0 because it just seems too good to be true, and that's not honest and real. So eventually, good news, you will get a bad review, and that's okay. But the goal is, I think I'm the same thing, about a 4.8, give or take, from what I understand, 4.7, 4.8. But the more reviews you have, the more legitimate you look, and it makes sense. Like if we're going to Yelp, you and I going to go to, hanging out and going to go to dinner somewhere in a city we're going in business, we don't know, familiar with it. Like I will trust Google's reviews absolutely, or Yelp. Those are about the only two places I'll look for the restaurants. For me, the part where I'm scratching my head is I do want the Google reviews, and I actually had my company turn off the Google reviews because unbeknownst to me, there is this third party, let's call it yourexperience.com, for example. And I'd say ours was Testimonial Tree or something like that. I don't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. But it was going there and people were leaving reviews, and that's awesome. But the problem is I don't control or own that. And that's the part that I want to make sure, and it's not a getaway car, but it's just one of those, I want control, because if something happens to it, or if I'm not here, like all those reviews are then out there and just stuck. So I've asked to turn that off because it created a second Google review, which made it very confusing for folks to say which one to look at or why are there two. So Google reviews will help you in your SEO. So if you're someone like myself, and I understand most loan officers aren't this way, but for those that are looking for the SEO or trying to rank higher or be found higher, the Google reviews are going to play much bigger play because it makes sense. You're on Google and they're going to trust their own product over some third party. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that has anything to change with what you're doing with your experience. So what we've started doing is going back to our old reviews that we've had, from other platforms, asking them, said, hey, would you mind now doing this? And just giving us, and I think my people, I'm 90% sure this is true. I think we're taking their word for word. We're emailing it to them, putting the link so it's super easy, because I don't want them to remove as many barriers to entry as we can, and they're doing that. So do you plan on doing Google more, or are you going to stick with experience since you already have 600 some odd reviews?
Probably sticking on experience for the most part, but something I started doing maybe a little less than a year ago was I sent out an email to everybody after closing that says, please click this link and leave me a Google review. How many do I have on there, by the way? It's only like 15, I think, or 20.
I didn't want to call you out. 19, correct.
There you go, 19. So that's not very many. And let's say I've sent it to 100 people to give it a round number. I'm having more people actually fill out the experience.com reviews than the Google reviews. It could be that the experience.com goes out sooner and they've done that and they're not going to do another review. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, at some point, how many reviews do you want to give somebody, right? Sometimes I don't even give people one review, even though I know I like them in my business. So I'll probably stick with the one where I have more and funnel people to that, knowing that the Google is out there all the time, and just Googling my name, just like you just did, the Google reviews pop. That's not a concern getting them to Google. That's my thought today.
I think and again, I think just pick something to do it right. So here's the stats I have. It's now the end of January, and we'll call it middle of December is when I kind of made this like the aha moment that the more Google reviews I have, it helps my SEO. And again, I work very hard at doing the SEO because I just like it. It's fun. It's a hobby. It's not. I wish the ROI is not there from time invested to dollars in the pocket, but it doesn't matter. I enjoy doing it. But to the point, I've gone from 41 to, I think now, I haven't Googled it, but let's see, I think I'm close to 90, maybe more. And the reason being, let's see what I got. As of this second, if you're listening, 84. So we've doubled our reviews in the last 6 weeks. And I don't know if this matters with Google. I'm told it doesn't, but I've just been trying to do 2 or 3 a day. You know, hey, Mr. Smith, so here's I think, something different. When do you ask for your reviews?
See,
I know the answer, but you said it. Yeah, just when you're done, when do you ask for a review?
The experience.com review goes out immediately. It's automated. It goes out right after the loan funds. Google reviews I have to do manually, and I do it in the first week of the month. So they're late. When are you doing your
Well,
Google
let me ask this question. So you're a, you know, and I don't know what you're at, but, you know, call it anywhere from 60, 80, $100 million producer. You're a big, great, wonderful producer. You do a lot of business. All right, do you bat 1,000? Of course not. Do you bat 1,000 from lead to close?
No.
So why? So one thing I've done, what's funny, I don't know how many leads, it'd be fun to go back and look. I can promise at least a third of the ones I've just gotten in the last 6 weeks are people who've not closed. Meaning, I talked to somebody today, she wants to buy a condo in Massachusetts, talking to her, trying to help her. And 5 minutes in, I learned it was a new construction. They have 4 preferreds. And all of a sudden, it's like getting waxed and shellaxed, right? So I'm like, we ain't doing this deal. Spend another 5-10 minutes with her. And at the end, I said, hey, real quick, I said, good luck. Sounds like you're in a good spot, all this stuff. I said, there's value in our conversation today. Do you agree? She was like, oh my God, you've been amazing. I said, thank you. I said, I'm going to ask 2 favors for you, if you don't mind. She goes, what's that? I said, number one, I'm going to send you a link when we're done. And this is the other part about your link, Brad. You were saying like you're going to find what it is. If you go to, so if you're listening, by the way, and you want to help me out, Mortgage Mark Review, or maybe it's Review Mortgage Mark. This would help too if I remembered what it is. ReviewMortgageMark.com. If you go to ReviewMortgageMark.com, guess where it takes you, Brad? Immediately to the window actually pops up that has the 5-star to where you just click it and you can push 5-star. So I got a speakable domain to where it says reviewmortgagemark.com. So I just sent her that and I chat GPT'd. I gave her, I said kind of what the scenario was, how we helped her, and just sent that to her. So all she has to do is copy paste and click that reviewmortgagemark.com.
That's
super easy.
Made it super easy.
Super easy. She has no reason not to. I just gave her 10 to 15 minutes of my time. And by the way, if you're wondering, the second ask, what was my second ask, Pfeiffer?
I don't know.
Send me all your friends and family. Who do you know right now that's looking to buy, sell, or refinance? Like, I promise I will. I promise I'll come back to you for refinance. I said, that's the right answer. Good for you. So again, I go back to the reviews. Start thinking bigger on your reviews if it's truly that important. And maybe it's not because you already have 600 or whatever it is. You got tons in there. And if you're not going to focus on the Google, I am going to my goal is to try to get to 365 by the end of this year, which based on this projection, you'd think wouldn't be a problem, but I'm hitting the low hanging fruit. After this, it's going to be just kind of that drudge where you got to ask everybody all the time, every time. So it is going to be a labor. But I mean, how many times, if you look at Google reviews, which you and I probably haven't, but we're about to start looking more, I imagine, most of the time, most people are like you and me. They're less than 100. The good ones might be in the 50s. Most of us are in the dozens. No big deal. There's every once in a while somebody that's a 700, 400. Those are the ballers. Like the guys that are doing big volume, they are doing big, big numbers. So it's funny that if we just get the 400 Google reviews, you will look like the biggest baller there is, unless you're just like a mega company, in which case then it's faceless.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
One other piece. So again, if you want to, just because we're on the subject and just more of an FYI, I don't know that I would recommend this for you based on what we just said, but, and I don't even know what Microsoft, is it Edge? Is that what Microsoft is? Is that their search thing?
I believe it is.
Microsoft
Edge. Put me on that. You're going to lean on me for technology, you got a problem.
Yeah, considering we both had trouble logging in today to do this. Microsoft.
Yeah, we did it. That's the key.
That we did it, buddy. We persevered. So what I was saying is, so as I just mentioned, Google, awesome, great, wonderful, et cetera, et cetera. The new thing that we all know is AI, right? We know that's coming around. We know that's going to be a thing. And so with Gemini, which is Google's, and then Microsoft has, what's theirs called? It's not Bard. It's on my freaking computer when I push the little button, the little AI thing. This would be a much better story or example if I could tell you what it is, but I don't use it clearly. Whatever their AI system is, the new found, like the techie people out there for SEO are saying, get whatever Microsoft Edge equivalent of Google review is, get that review, because AI is going to end up looking and referencing that because it's a Microsoft product. And I can prove a guy I talked to last week found me in Austin, Texas, by using, believe it or not, AI. ChatGPT sent in my direction.
That's cool. Copilot, is that what you're thinking of?
Copilot. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, Google's a good
thank
thing.
you.
Google is handy.
Yeah, Google's a
Okay,
good
so
thing.
that's really pretty cool. Yeah, and you never know where people are going to find us, online or anywhere else. Word of mouth, realtors, builders, all that good stuff.
But I would say in your process, do you do the Tuesday updates, or do you call your pipeline during the process, check in? I assume you do, right?
Most definitely, yeah.
I would just say, man, we're getting close, you're underwriting approved or whatever it is. But I would even say a pre-approval, if somebody's not going to go with you, but you felt like you've earned it in terms of the time spent and the value given, especially if it's new construction. That's an easy one, because they understand they're leaving you, not because they want to, but there's $5,000 tied somewhere else.
Right.
Hey, man, before you go, if you found value in what I did, would you mind giving me a review? Again, if that's your goal to go in, but again, you're so far ahead of the game with hundreds of that I don't know that any more are going to matter, but I think now it's just leveraging what you did. And I would send it more than once. I would send it to the realtors. Like any realtor you call right now that's new to you, that'd be the first thing I would send.
Okay.
And I would even then reference this information that we just talked about. Even if you don't use it, this information, you could say, let me help you do your reviews. I just looked you up and Google shows you have 8. Let me help you and tell you what I did. And then just repeat this conversation with them. So now you're the quote, expert on this, and you tell them what to do and how to do it.
Right. I'm good with that. I think it's a great idea.
Love it. My man, any closing arguments? Like I said, we're not going to just chat and just make sure we hit our points, but anything else you want to hit today?
My only final suggestion to you is the next time we do this, I'll be ready, but somebody else, let them know they're actually going to be recorded and it's posted, and then they won't be wearing a t-shirt. How about that?
Honey, you look good. Don't you worry, man. I asked if you were camera ready. You said you were camera ready. You're good.
I'm not camera ready right now, but I'm on camera and I'm at home. I'm working from home today too in a t-shirt, which is really nice, but not great for the recordings. But anyway, here it is.
Now, look, I'm on I look about as sick as they come with this lighting in here in this office. So we'll give it a neutral on that one.
You're good, man. All right, thanks, Mark. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate you, bud.